Interstate moves are complicated. You can see this in customer reviews. If you're looking at a local moving company to move down the block, you can frequently find great companies with awesome reviews and a pristine reputation. But if you've ever looked at a long distance mover, you'll be quick to notice that even some of the best, most established brands have some horrible reviews. Why is that? If you think about a local moving company just moving somewhere down the block, the price estimates can be a little sloppy. If they get the size of the move wrong, the company can pretty easily do 2 trips. The movers also don't have to be that skilled at packing the truck because just driving down the block, there isn't a huge risk of items shifting around and getting damaged. But with a long distance move, every inch of space on the truck is super valuable. If the moving company doesn't accurately estimate how much stuff you have, it can result in thousands of dollars in additional charges. Even more importantly, if you're driving 1,000+ miles, there is a lot of road bumps. Everything needs to be professionally packed in order to avoid major damage. If you add up all the expertise, infrastructure, trucks, gas, and manpower it requires to deliver an awesome long-distance moving experience, you start to understand why cross-country moves can cost anywhere between $3,500 and $15,000. Seeing these price tags, it can be tempting to hire the first company that claims that it'll cost half that price of the other quotes you get. Please don't do this. We've been contacted by thousands of people who went with the lowest quote mover. The internet is full of these moving horror stories and these companies that give the industry a bad name. Of the over 500 interstate movers that we looked at, we picked the 5 that had the best combination of verified customer reviews, license and insurance data, and federal compliance data. By the way, just so you know why you should even be watching this, I'm Sergio from Move Buddha. Move Buddha is a moving resource with a mission to make moving easier. We've done all the work to understand the moving industry so you don't have to. We help over 400,000 people move a year, and we've been doing this for almost a decade now. Anyway, these are the 5 best interstate moving companies. Remember like a minute ago when I was describing the complicated logistics of an interstate move? Well, you know who else deals with extremely complicated logistics? The military. So it makes perfect sense that our top pick for the best interstate moving company is veteran-owned Safeway Moving. They have interstate move logistics down to a T, and it helps that they have access to a huge network of trucks across the country. Because of this, they actually do offer competitive pricing. Safeway's focus on quality and accurate pricing is perfectly illustrated by their multi-step quality assurance process. Booking a mover is overwhelming, but customers regularly tell us that Safeway has an easy quoting and booking process. It's not just the booking, however. Christian used Safeway to relocate from New York to California, and he told us that he was impressed by the friendliness and professionalism of the crew themselves. There are a couple of other things that make Safeway a standout choice, such as their 30 days of free storage for the times that move out and move in day don't perfectly align, and they donate a portion of the sale to charity, which is always nice. Safeway is not for you, however, if you're moving locally, since they specialize in interstate moves. If you're interested in learning about Safeway or any of the movers that I talk about in this video, there are links in the description to their in-depth reviews. Have you ever heard of van lines? They're these massive moving companies that have extensive networks across the country. They are solid options for moves, but we found that their service offerings can often be bloated for the average customer, and that translates to higher prices. One van line where this isn't the case and is actually one of our favorite options is American Van Lines. AVL started in 1995 with just 2 trucks and has grown into a nationwide mover with over 70 trucks. Despite this growth, however, they managed to maintain the feel and the perks of a family-owned business. They've even been the #1 highest-rated full-service moving company on Newsweek's magazine Best Customer Service ranking. Kathy can vouch for this. She had a fairly complicated move from Washington, D.C. to St. Louis, but she gave AVL the highest marks for communication throughout her move. She loved that she had one point of contact from the beginning of the move to the very end. To double down on that further, we've actually seen the owner of AVL step in to take responsibility for a mistake to ensure that the customer leaves happy. On top of great customer service, because of their lean operations that set them apart from other large companies like them, they have some of the best prices we've seen. Want to find out for yourself? Well, even that's pretty cool because they use AI technology to give you an accurate and binding estimate in minutes. There's little wrong with American Van Lines, but to be nitpicky, they may require a deposit. We haven't actually seen any complaints about this, so it seems that they handle this legitimately. What we have seen some complaints about is the company's automated phone system calling too frequently. American Van Lines is genuinely a great company to check out for your move. International Van Lines is a company that also has its own network of trucks across the country, but in addition to that, they have an even larger system of partner moving companies, which give give them absolute coverage across the country. This also allows them to offer competitive pricing. This is a huge reason Suresh chose them for his move from Ohio to Texas. He got 3 quotes from movers, IVL offered the lowest price, and he gave them a 5-star review for his experience. Communication, professionalism, and timeliness were all perfect, and he had no damage whatsoever, even though he was moving some pretty tricky items such as glassware. Another thing that separates IVL from the competition is its 24/7 customer service. Many interstate moves can stretch into after hours, and it's a major perk to know that there's someone at headquarters to help you with any on-the-spot questions you may have. Finally, International Van Lines has the option to offer estimates over the phone, but they also offer video and in-home estimates if needed. A couple of things to note about International Van Lines is that their deposit is typically 25% of the move, and there can be a varied degree of quality with brokered moves. Although it is important to mention that they have a lot of experience ensuring that these brokered moves go well. International Van Lines should be one of the companies that you get a quote from. The last van line that we're going to talk about is one you should consider if you have a complex move on the horizon. Airvan North American Van Lines is not only one of the largest moving companies in the nation, but they are also the highest rated nationwide moving company among Move Buddha customers. North American Van Lines has a network of over 1,500 local agents across all 50 states. These local agents are totally independently owned and operated moving companies that have access to the vast resources of a nationwide company and are fully integrated into their logistics and communication systems. This is somewhat similar to a brokered move in that they have a third-party company help you with your move, but it's very different in that these companies are held to the highest standards in order to be associated with a prestigious company like North American Van Lines. They've been in business for 74 years, and there's nothing that they haven't moved. If you have very specific bulky furniture that's valuable and tough to move like a piano or a hot tub, North American's been there. If you have fragile valuables, they'll offer custom wooden crating, but that's not all. This amazing reputation is why Marcy used them for her move from California to Colorado. Long story short, everything went well, and she said she would certainly use them again for a future move. But wait, there's more. They offer binding, not to exceed estimates. Translation, they'll quote you a maximum price. If your move ends up being smaller than estimated, they'll reduce the price accordingly. There are a couple of things to mention about North American though. Since they are such a big and highly demanded company, they can book up quickly, especially in the summer months when everybody's moving. This also means that their pricing is not the cheapest. So North American Van Lines is certainly a top pick, but be sure to get in touch with them a few months in advance to ensure availability. Last on this list, but certainly not least, JK Moving. I've mentioned how many movers have a hard time keeping their costs down due to a complicated logistics and the amount of work that goes into an interstate move. This leads to some companies cutting corners to offer low prices. JK Moving went the complete opposite direction. They're the option if you want the best quality and most professional movers. There's a reason they've been the choice for moving presidents out of the White House and the relocation of multiple Fortune 500 companies. As you may imagine, getting the best of the best comes at a cost. They are the most expensive mover on this list, but if you have a high-end move on the horizon, it's best to put in the hands of people with the expertise in this matter. For that cost, you'll be getting top-of-the-line moving experience, including high-quality movers, guaranteed pickup and delivery dates, third-party financing options available to help you pay for the move, easy and fast AI-powered in-home estimate tool, low deposit requirements of only $250 for interstate moves, a phone app that lets you message your movers, track your move, and pay, and extremely responsive customer service. These perks are exactly why Jose picked them for moving his large home from Utah to Florida. How did that turn out? The move actually came in under budget, and Jose loved how they handled his items with care and paid meticulous attention to how they packed them. This is no surprise since JK Moving has an incredibly low complaint rate. Even though they've completed over 40,000 moves in the last 3 years, they really are impressive. But as I mentioned, it's not a good option for people with a tight budget. But if you do have the budget and very valuable belongings, JK Moving is probably the option for you. To be fair, these are not the only reputable moving companies out there, but I wanted to share with you a vast array of top-notch movers. Explore your options, but I implore you to skip out on companies that try to reel you in with prices that are seemingly too good to be true. How will you know what companies are too good to be true? Use our moving cost calculator linked in the description to get an idea of what your move will cost. All you have to do is plug in your origin, destination, size, and date of the move, and you'll get an instant ballpark estimate of your move cost. After that, get quotes from at least 3 movers, preferably verified and reputable movers like those on this list. With that, you'll have an idea of what costs seem reasonable. That's it for this video. Remember, there's a more more in-depth analysis of the top interstate movers linked below, along with individual reviews of each of the companies that I mentioned. Thanks for watching.